post-cabinet press briefing for 2024. To lead us in our deliberations, let me invite the chair of this session, the Honorable Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Mswere, to present to us today's cabinet highlights. Over to you, Minister.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. Cabinet considered and noted the report on the food deficit mitigation strategy, the urban cash transfer program, and the movement of grain as presented by the Minister of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, Honorable July Moyo. The third blitz in terms of the food distribution commenced on the 1st of November 2024, targeting 6.5 million beneficiaries, commencing with those who had not received during the second blitz in terms of the food distribution. The total population that is expected to benefit in Manicaland province is 1.2 million, Mashonaland Central Province 762,290, Mashonaland East 960,000, Mashonaland West 867,462, Masvingo Province 969,470, Matabeleland North 524,730, Matabeleland South Province 343,658, Midlands Province 911,000, and the total is 6.5 million people. Under the Zundera Mambo Ispasha Senkosi program, a cumulative total of 4,362 metric tons of grain has been collected by chiefs across the country in order to cater for the most vulnerable members of the society. Under the Urban Cash for Cereals program, 27,877 beneficiaries have been reached with cash disbursements as at 25 October 2024. The Emergency Schools Feeding Program continues to be part of the food distribution program as learners are having their hot meals on a daily basis. As at 10 November 2024, a cumulative total of 19,000 metric tons of grain had been collected under this program. Cabinet considered and approved the proposals on the private sector participation in the development, refurbishment, upgrade, repair and maintenance of the country's sports stadium, which was presented by the Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable Engineer Daniel Garwe. Cabinet approved strategies aimed at repairing and the maintenance of the country's sports infrastructure in support of the International Federation of Football Association. The funding initiative will add to White City in Bulawayo, Ascot in Gweru, Chipadze in Bindura, and the government of Zimbabwe intends to replicate similar strategies in the refurbishment of stadiums across all cities and towns throughout the country. Cabinet wishes to highlight that the refurbishment of the National Sports Stadium in Harare to CAF approved standards is at an advanced stage in terms of completion. Cabinet considered and approved the principles of the Private Investigators and Security Guards Bill as presented by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Honorable Kazembe Kazembe. Given the exponential growth of the security sector and the technological advancements necessitated in terms of the amendments, in terms of legislation, the principles of the Private Investigators and Security Guards Act, Chapter 27.10. The major focus of the amendment bill provides for the establishment of the Zimbabwe Private Security Regulatory Authority, which will contribute to public protection through the setting up and the improvement in terms of standards in the private sector, in mainly focusing on the private security industry and promoting compliance. It will also enhance public confidence in the country's private security services. More specifically, the primary duty of the authority is to ensure that players in the private security industry comply with governing legislation and set standards and codes of conduct through licensing, training, monitoring, and inspection. The authority will be mandated to ensure that security guards and persons holding management positions in private security have the requisite training and credentials. Additionally, the authority will monitor and enforce adherence to the law, investigate grievances, and penalize persons who violate the Act and the Code of Conduct. Furthermore, the principles of the Private Investigators and Security Guards Control provide for the appointment of the Zimbabwe Private Security Regulatory Authority Board, whose tenure of office, conditions of service, as well as dismissal and other facets of the corporate governance shall be in line with the Public Entities and Corporate Governance Act. The principles further provide for the setting up of the Office of the Controller, who shall be appointed on the basis of his or her expertise, which among other competencies will be a public security background process. The amendment seeks to incorporate the licensing of persons or companies selling or providing services defined as security services, such as locksmith, CCTV installers, among others. It also is for private investigators by amending Section 7 of the Act, which provides for the licensing of private investigators. It gives the licensed investigators the power to employ without limit other private. Honorable Felix Mona. The utilization of the United Nations Office of Counter-Terrorism on Go Travel software solution in Zimbabwe aims to strengthen the country's capacity to prevent, detect, and intercept terrorists and their movement by collecting and analyzing passenger data through the use of an automated human capital development skills application and employment creation. The main objective of the transformation strategy and its implementation framework, relevance and inclusivity of the vocational skills training program. The transformation process is also aimed at enabling the vocational training centers to offer specialized training related to local resource endowments in the country. Furthermore, the transformation process will complement other government programs, such as the establishment of village business units, the Pfumbuza Intwasa program, the National Solarization program, and the Housing Infrastructure programs, which will require skilled manpower for rural industrialization and ultimately contribute towards the realization of Vision 2030. The implementation framework seeks to facilitate the effective and efficient achievement of the goals and objectives of the strategic framework for the transformation of the vocational training system which runs from January 2025 to December 2028. The framework also describes the major activities which will be undertaken by government to transform and modernize vocational training system framework. Cabinet received reports on progress made in the implementation of priority projects for the third 100-day cycle of 2024, as presented by the Ministers of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, the Minister of National Housing and Social Amenities, the Minister of Health and Child Care, and the Minister of Energy and Power Development. The computerization of 4 sub-offices in Murambinda, Mahusekwa in Mashonaland East, in Chiremwa in Mashingo Province, and in Chimanda in Mashonaland Central Province is underway. And the sub-offices in terms of computer equipment deployment is at 50% in terms of completion. A preliminary survey for the establishment of the Chitepo Liberation Heritage Archive in Manicaland Province has been conducted, and procurement of the materials to establish this facility is being expedited. The refurbishment of the Nambia Community Museum in Wanke, Matabeleland North Province is on course. The development and deployment of the online border management system is progressing very well. The establishment of production vocational training units is at 6 Temple Trust Training Center is underway. Matabeleland North Province has been completed. The proposed Binga housing project has been completed. The Uzumba Maramba Pungwe Mutawatawa housing project is at 90% in terms of completion. The proposed bike redevelopment in Matabeleland South is at 71% in terms of completion. The Minister of Health and Child Care, Honorable Dr. Douglas Mumbeshora, also reported progress that has been recorded under his purview. The repair of cancer machines at Mpilo Hospital is at 90% in terms of completion, with the CT scan in the chiller being work in progress at 85% in terms of completion. The construction of the water tank at Chitungweza Central Hospital is on course, with the overall progress being at 55% in terms of completion. The installation of X-ray machines at Chikurubi Maximum Prison Hospital and the Inkomo Barracks Hospital was completed, while other hospitals are at various stages in terms of completion. The construction of oxygen plant rooms at Lupano Hospital and the Chinoi Provincial Hospital is underway, with the project expected to be completed this December 2024. The procurement of materials for the renovation of 10 waiting mother shelters and theaters at Mount Darwin, Siakovu, Shidamoyo sites had been recorded in terms of projects under his purview. The construction of the Chitulipasi Community Solar Project in Bike Bridge, Matabeleland South Province has been completed and awaits commissioning. The Mcheka Yaora Grid Extension Project in Gutu District, Mashingo Province has been completed and awaits commissioning, while the Negande Grid Extension Project in Kariba District, Mashonaland West Province is at 85% in terms of completion. Meanwhile, the commissioning of the Great Zimbabwe Mini Hydro Power Station is in progress. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for presenting to us today's cabinet highlights. We now move to the next session where we entertain questions. We have 3 questions, then we'll ask the ministers to respond. Then we have another round of 3 questions again, then we call it a day.
And then the second one is to the Minister of Housing. How many houses have been completed so far? And where are we in as far as the housing backlog is concerned? Then the third one is to the Minister of Health. You mentioned the repairing and servicing of cancer machines. Do we have any plans for buying new cancer machines, seeing that the ones available, we are seeing long queues every day? So do we have plans to buy new machines? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We had 3 questions from one person. So over to you.
Within the NBS1, our initial target was to complete about 200,000 housing units. This target has since been surpassed, and we have reviewed our target to 1 million housing units, which we are supposed to achieve by next year, 2025. At the moment, we are devolution funds, even individuals constructing their own houses. So we are working together to come up with the current status where we are. But we are certain that the target of 1 million housing units will be achieved by 2025. And the other question was how far have we gone with the backlog? Yes, we acknowledged when we launched our national human settlements policy in 2020 that the housing backlog was around 2 million housing units. This continues to be a moving target, given that we have new families that are coming up, and the population continues to grow. But the effort that we have made so far is to ensure that as we get to the end of the National Development Strategy Period 1, we would have achieved the 1 million housing units, and obviously that is going to account for the deficit that we had initially estimated to be around 2 million housing units. Thank you.
The second question to Dr. Mombeshora about do you have any plans to procure new machines in terms of cancer equipment?
Thank you very much, Abigail Tembo, for that question. The first simple answer is to say yes, we have got plans to buy new cancer machines. We have got 2 cancer treatment centers in Zimbabwe, one at Parinyatwa and the other one at Mpilo. The one at Parinyatwa is fully operational at the moment, with the one at Mpilo now operational, but only the CT scan is not yet operational, and we require some money to buy the spares for that CT scan. But our plans now that we know that we are going to get money from the sugar tax, we have already sought some advice from the specialists who are the radio oncologists, and to say what are their priorities in terms of the equipment that we require. We are going to add more machines at Parinyatwa and Mpilo hospitals, but we have also planned to procure more machines to start new centers, that is at Chinhoyi Hospital and in Gweru Provincial Hospital. We are also planning to put other cancer treatment centers in Masvingo and in Mutare at Chitepo Hospital. We are at an advanced stage. Yesterday I got the update that PRAS has approved our request to do a short bid, which is for 5 days, so that we shorten the procurement period, and with a few conditions. So we are now in the process of actually requesting for those bids. We hope we will be able to do the procurement process within this side of the year, that is before the 31st of December. Hopefully everything will be progressing, and that is going to, we are going to use the money from the sugar tax to procure the new equipment. the new centers will be fully operational with all the necessary equipment that is required. And we all have now the quotations, and it's just the process that is left. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nombeshora. I will take the other question. The Honorable Minister in charge of local government is not here. The question, Abigail Tembo, is the policy position that we've just announced in this post-cabinet briefing session, in that as government, when we say Zimbabwe is open for business, we mean it. This is the creation of a magnetic investment climate that allows the private sector to be able to participate in sports infrastructure investment issues, primarily focusing on the refurbishment of sports infrastructure, the upgrading, repair, maintenance, including the construction of new stadiums across the country. So the Zimbabwe is open for business, and the creation of the investment climate has opened up all sectors of the economy, which also includes the repair, maintenance, and construction of stadium infrastructure as part of a business plan. So it starts now in terms of the investment climate that allows for a build on operating transfer basis in terms of sports infrastructure across the country. So it starts now. So all private sector institutions and individuals are invited to participate across the country, be it in Mashonaland Central, at Chipadze Stadium, be it in Ascot, in Gweru, be it in Masvingo, be it in Manicaland province. So this is the intervention from central government that allows private sector participation in sports infrastructure as a business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Ministers, for responding to those questions. Let's move to the last round of 10 questions. If you can have another Abigail Tembo, you can. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary. My name is Romeda Muruga from Herald. My question is directed to Honorable Kasembi. In respect of the bill that was made reference to, my question is, what is the difference of that proposed bill with the statutory instrument that he was pleased to promulgate in April? That is the private investigators and security regulations in SI that he promulgated in April this year. What is the difference? And related to that again, this proposed bill, does it have educational threshold or qualifications in respect of security guards? Is it going to address those issues? And lastly, this proposed bill, does it have any relationship with the Institute of Child Loss Control and Private Security Act that sailed through Parliament this year as a private member's bill? I thank you.
Thank you very much. Any? Yes.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Tobias Mudzingwa. I'm a correspondent for VOA Studio 7. Nditenderawo ndibvunze nechishona Chief Secretary kana zvichitenderawo ndipindurawo nechishona. Mataura mhando dzemoto dzakawanda munzvimbo dzakasiyana siyana zviri kuedzwa kuitwa kuti tiwane alternative power, particularly solar. Ndingada kuziva kuti mazuva matatu adarika aya tanga tiine magetsi mudzimba dzedu zvatatisiri kumboona mazuva mwedzi yakawanda yadarika, kuti tingaramba tichimwera tichimaona here magetsi aya hatiri kuona mazuva matatu adarika aya. Ndatenda Minister.
Yes, can we have another question before we ask our Honourable Ministers to respond? Have we go a second bite? No. Okay, Honorable Minister, maybe let's respond to those questions.
First, it's Ramaida Murwira in terms of the proposed bill. Honorable Kazembe, what is the difference? He wants to know also about the thresholds and that is there a relationship between the proposed bill and the Institute of Chartered Loss Control in terms of legislation. Over to you, Honorable Kazembe.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you to Maida Mugwira for those pertinent questions. The first one being that is there any difference between the SI, which is in existence, and the proposed bill. It's a proposed bill, not a bill as yet. These are principles that basically give direction of where we want to go in terms of amending the current act. So now that the principles have passed through cabinet have been approved, the next thing after all processes have been taken care of will be the drafting of the actual bill. That is then the stage at which the two can be compared to see if there's no duplications. In any case, an SI is just an SI, and we're talking about the act here, which we're amending, an act which has been in existence since 1978. Which is no longer consistent with what is obtaining at the moment. And like I mentioned earlier on, these are principles. The cleaning up will be done at drafting stage at the AG's office. And then there was a question of the threshold with regards to education qualification. Exactly, that's exactly what we're trying to deal with. At the moment, Ramaida, anyone can wake up and set up a company, a security company. Anybody, they just decide to join hands with their cousins, wife, or even girlfriend, and set up a security company as it is. And we don't have those minimum thresholds as you are as you alluded to. But going forward, we believe that private security companies play a very important role in the security architecture of the country. They are an extension of the security arm of the country. So they have to comply with certain requirements, certain minimum standards, which include the thresholds you're talking about. Not everybody should just wake up and set up a company. Not everybody should just wake up and become a guard. And also, you'll agree with me that people can be faulted for suspecting that some of the crimes that we're witnessing, some of the armed robberies that we're witnessing, they could be as a result, they could be, I repeat, they could be as a result of connivance, or they could be as a result of the help from these security companies that we are talking to, or maybe not the security companies per se, but maybe the so-called security personnel of the guards. So we need now to have an act that addresses those areas where we can account for people who are in this industry, where we can ensure that those who are in the industry are trained, have got the requisite security background, and they are clean and clear, and that the capacity to do what they want to do. So basically, that's what these principles are attempting to address. And then the relationship with the private chartered institute of loss control. Yes, again, this will be dealt with at the drafting stage to see if there are any similarities or gaps. The drafters will attend to only those issues that are supposed to be attended to in terms of closing the gaps. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Voice of America. Tina kuita nhaurirano dzekuti dzemibvunzo yamabvunza zuva ranhasi, asi chandingangokupakurirei inhau dzezviga maringe nekuwedzera magetsi muno munyika zvatorwa zvichiburikidza neutungamiriri hwapurezidendi Idi Mnangagwa. Ndichatsetsenura zvimwe zvacho nekuti zvakawanda zvinozadza mumabhaibheri. Kuvandudzwa kugadzirwa kwemagetsi kuchiteshi cheHwange Power Station chinova chiri mudunhu reMatabeleland North Province, Unit 1 to 6, nekugadzirwa zvakare kwechirongwa chemagetsi chinotwa icho Unit 7 and 8. Kuvandudzwa zvakare kwemagetsi kukariba yatinoti hydro, zvekutanga zvandambotaura thermal power station. Urongwa zvakare hwerenewable energy policy unoona nezvekutapwa kwezuva kuti ringe richigadzira magetsi muno munyika. Kuvandudza nekuvhura zvakare bato rekugadzira magetsi zvichisanganisira kuseenzeswa kwezuva inonzi solar, huri urongwa hweprivate sector, hwezvemabhizimusi vari kunze nevezvemabhizimusi vari muno munyika. Kubatanidza zvakare padhamhu rimwe nerimwe rine chikamu chinokwanisa kunge chichibatsiridza kuti tinge tichigadzira magetsi, atava kuti ma-integration ema-energy power projects on each and every dam infrastructure or river. Ndo zvimwe zvezvirongwa zvichisanganisira atoti ma-mini hydro projects akasanganisira neatataura zuva ranhasi ekuGreat Zimbabwe, zvichisanganisira ese ari kunana Tokwe Mukosi, ese ari kwaMutare panoerera Nzizi tichigadzira magetsi. Ndo zvimwe zvezvirongwa zviri kuitwa nemutungamiriri wenyika kuti magetsi ati ngwengwe nyika yose, asi ticharamba tichishinaira kuti magetsi ange achivandudzwa muno munyika. Zuro chaiye mutungamiriri wenyika anoparwa zvakare chimwe chirongwa chemagetsi kudunhu reMatabeleland North Province, ende vacharamba vachiparura zvirongwa zvakasiyana-siyana mumatunhu akasiyana-siyana kuti tivandudze kugadzirwa kwemagetsi muno munyika. Maita basa.
Thank you very much.